Hello, welcome to my channel, another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am going to do the quarter year book crisis tag. This is not really a tag. I was not tagged in this, and I will not tag other people in this. This is a series of questions that you can answer to tell others how you have been reading in the last quarter. If you feel like doing it, just do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. There are 9 prompts to this tag. Prompt number 1. How many books have you read so far? 61. That's pretty good. I am feeling that's a very good pace for me. Out of those 61, 26 were print, 21 were audio, and 14 were digital. That's a pretty solid mix and about right. It's a little more print heavy than it usually is. I haven't really gone back and compared other quarters or other years. It just feels like print has been very heavy in the past quarter. Although this was not asked, 51 of those books were originally written in English, and the other 10 were in translation. The most popular translations for me were German at 4 and 3 at French. And there was some Chinese and some Japanese and one other language or something like that. And again, I'm satisfied with 61 books in this quarter. I'm well on pace for my retired reading averages. Prompt number 2. Have you already found a book you think might be a 2023 favorite? If not, what was your favorite book that you read that wasn't quite a 5-star book? Now, I don't quite do star ratings, but already I have a book that I think is a serious candidate for the best book of the year. This is William Gaddis's The Recognitions. This is a major postmodern novel. It is 945 pages long. It is incredibly dense. It is incredibly detailed, and it is absolutely fantastic. And I know that a vast number of the people watching this video will probably not like this book. That's unfortunate, but that's just the truth of it, is that this is a book for a particular audience, and you have to love just diving into these incredible details and these scenes that are marvelous, but they don't really move forward the way a normal plot would. For example, there are scenes where they're having a gathering in New York City, and it's just the conversations between all the people in this gathering, and there are streams of words and memes that are going through these conversations, and they're passed on to other people, and they're modified by different people, and it circles around in conversations. And I found it incredibly interesting. But again, most people will not dig this book. Prompt number 3. Any 1-star book's least favorite book of the year? Yes, there is a leading candidate for worst book of the year, and that was Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. I read this as part of a science fiction book group over on Voxer. The person who selected this book did not realize it was young adult when he selected it. Now, the young adultedness, the fact that it is young adult is not necessarily wholly responsible for it being the worst book of the year, but it is a strong, strong element of why I dislike this book. Just to put it in terms is like, I'm just too old to read about teenagers. I never had kids of my own, so I never saw them grow up. My only interaction with teenagers was when I was a teenager. And it just doesn't interest me. The main character was so annoying that I really wanted to throw the book across the room. I am told by people who read more young adult that That's pretty typical for a young adult narrator. Another problem with the book is it was science fiction. Now, the science fiction part is not the problem. It was set in a future America after a serious terrorist attack, more serious than 9/11, and the government starts cracking down on its citizens. And there's this element of the bad, naughty, wicked, evil government doing bad things and impinging on people's personal freedom. And DHS just goes totally off the charts and restricting our freedoms. And it just has this unpleasant and erroneous sense of paranoia about how bad the government is. And now, it was written during the Bush administration, and I am no fan of the Bush administration, but it just came off as rather simplistic. Its villains are like right out of a Hollywood movie. And if you're taking your villains from a Hollywood movie, you know the book is going to go down slow very fast with not a whole lot of a chance to recover. So that's why I really detested this book. And it just solidifies in my mind is that let the young people read young adult. Let the old fogies like me read books written for old fogies. Prompt number 4. Most read genre. Out of the 61, let me look this up, I read 14 fiction or literary fiction books. A close second would be science fiction at 8. So yeah, that's about where I am. I had crime fiction, I believe, 3. Prompt number 5. A book that surprised you. Okay, if you are a judge for nonfiction on the Booktube Prize, just hold your ears. Don't listen to me because I'm going to mention a book that I read for the Booktube Prize that is still being judged. That is Secret City, The Hidden History of Gay Washington by James Kirchick. This is a long 800-page nonfiction work about how it was to be gay in Washington, D.C. and working in the government. And it starts in the eras when it basically was forbidden to be gay in the government, but there were still gay people in the government. And it goes through all the presidential administrations and how times change and how it came from being totally forbidden and to the point where, well, we just won't do too much about the gay people, and then to the modern times. So I found that fascinating, especially since I live near Washington, D.C., and the whole political intrigue and the machinations of the back room of who was gay in such a presidential administration and what they brought to that administration that was beneficial to the presidents, and the presidents who looked the other way. Really good stuff. And that surprised me because when I got selected for that group, I just shook my head. Oh no, I don't want to read about that. Because I thought it'd be more like gay nightclub adventures, and no, it's all politics and really fascinating. Book number 6. Prompt number 6. Book that came out in 2023 already that you want to read but haven't. Okay, I'm going to list 2 books here. One fiction and one nonfiction. The fiction is Our Share of Night by Marina Increz. This is translated from the Spanish. It is a 500, 600-page horror novel that swings in between the times, like the 60s, between London and Argentina and the dictatorship down there at that time. And it just sounds like it sounds like my kind of book. I mean, I like horror books, and I like reading about dictatorships for some reason. It just fascinates me. So I really want to get this book, and I will eventually. That is my fiction. My nonfiction is G-Man, J. Edgar Hoover and the Making of the American Century by Beverly Gage. This is another huge biography. I think it's like 800, 900 pages. And J. Edgar Hoover is, he was a character. He was not a nice man, as far as I can tell, but he sounds totally fascinating. He was a man to be reckoned with. I have read some nonfiction works where he is featured very heavily about forming of the FBI, and he's just such a character that I'm totally looking forward to this. I do hope that if I go on and judge more rounds for the BookTube prize, that I get assigned this book. Now, maybe I'm already biased because I want to read it so much, but still, it is one that I truly want to read. Prompt number 7. One goal you made that you're succeeding at. The one goal that I have successfully finished this year is the 100 book challenge. Now, that did start last November, but I finished it last month. And this is where I challenged myself to read 100 books before I already owned, before buying another book. And I finished it. Technically, I'm still on the, or leading into the 500 book challenge. You know, that's more of a pipe dream. I'm not going to make it to 500 books read before I buy a new book. It's just too many. It took me 20 weeks to read 20 books. 20 weeks to read 100 books. And I don't want to go that many weeks to get 500. So it's something that the 500 book challenge is something that I doubt I will succeed at. Prompt number 8, one goal you made that you need to focus on. Well, I sort of commented on the 500, even though I know that's, like I said, I'm not going to succeed at that one. But my other goal is every year I want to read 55,000 pages. I use this instead of a book count goal because it allows me the luxury of reading long books. Because if I set myself a book goal to read a certain number of books, I would focus on short books, as I focused on short books reading the 100 book challenge. But with the 55,000 page challenge, it's just number of pages, so it doesn't matter the length of the book. And at the end of March, I had read 16,498 pages. My goal for that quarter would have been 13,750. So I'm well on my way to succeeding at that goal. Prompt number 9. New to you, Booktubers, Bookstagrammer, Booktokers for 2023 you recommend. I am going to recommend Al Ohm. He is mostly a commenter on my live stream every Monday with Alan and Big Hard Books and Classics, but he does have a channel. Now, his channel is mostly podcasts that he just sticks up as videos, so there's not a whole lot of visualization in these videos, but he's such a smart guy, talks a lot about Nietzsche, philosophy, and Eastern religions. So go check him out if Nietzsche, philosophy, and Eastern religions are your kind of thing. Well, that is the end of the book, or the quarter year book crisis tag. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.